They're just hanging out.
Okay.
That's what I would call it. She's just supporting the team.
Yeah, she's a big Chiefs fan. She's come out to the last 2 Chiefs games, and it's been widely publicized by many. And Travis Kelce says on the most recent episode of his podcast, he said about the NFL, I think they're overdoing it a little bit for sure, especially my situation. Even Travis Kelce is saying the NFL is doing too much to pump up Taylor Swift and his relationship, or lack thereof, perhaps, if they're not actually dating.
Maybe he feels as if they're ruining his chances.
Now that, I don't know if they're ruining it, but I understand the feeling of a relationship that you start into, and then it feels like right off the bat, there's so much pressure from everybody around you.
Yep.
Because you'll never get anybody else as good as this. You never get anybody else, period. People used to tell me. And so I need to, you hold on. But then all that pressure makes the relationship, cracks may start to form. And so, yeah, I understand why Travis Kelce might want the NFL to dial it back a little bit.
Cool it.
Yeah.
You would say.
Take it easy.
Like when I go back, because in their statement, they talk about how they frequently post, they frequently change their bios, as well as how the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift news has been a real pop cultural movement they've leaned into. This is their Instagram page's story.
The NFL saying.
He also said the vast majority of our content has remained focused on the game, our players, and a variety of other initiatives. But then I look at the NFL's Instagram, right? And they do post a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
During the Chiefs game, they posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 posts.
Wow.
5 of them were of Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay.
So 5 posts of her in one game. Seems a bit aggressive to me.
That's just a lot. They're just over posting in general.
Can you imagine if I got like 5 videos of you at a sporting event and posting all of them? That seems a bit aggressive.
That. I would be
like, what could you possibly be doing in those 5 videos that would be worth posting? And most of these for Taylor, she is hugging people, cheering. Seems like every day kind of things.
It's so difficult. It's so difficult because in one line of thought, you're thinking, yeah, they're just 2 people. They should be, just because they're celebrities doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to kind of have their relationship be their own thing that we don't all get involved in. But also at the same time, if you were dating somebody famous, wouldn't you eat up the attention? If you were dating Taylor Swift, you think you wouldn't want everybody talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's positives and negatives to it. Goods and bads.
What did you not know, Travis Kelce, that this was coming?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He asked for I don't feel bad for Travis Kelce.
No, I don't.
He asked for this attention. So for him to come out now and be like, well, they're kind of overdoing it, nobody has any sorrow for you.
No. I don't even think. Yeah. So I guess who I do feel sorry for are the people that hate Taylor Swift for some reason. That's what my heart aches for. The ones that just
are over it.
Yeah.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
This is crazy. You could, if you're renting out an Airbnb, something you have to account for apparently is the off chance that the person you rent to will never leave. That is what has happened reportedly here in Los Angeles, where back in September of 2021, a woman rented a guest house in the Brentwood area. And she did rent it out long term. It was for a 6-month period, $105 a night. But after that 6 months, which would have come to an end in April of 2022, the woman has continued staying in this house, in this Airbnb, squatting, rent-free, refusing to leave. And so now this is wound up in court, where And what's wild is not only does this woman just continue on staying here, she also thinks that the Airbnb host should have to pay her to relocate. Tell me how that, I mean, that doesn't even make sense, does it?
Makes no sense.
It doesn't
obviously.
make sense. I don't want to get into all of the complications of whatever this means, whatever the Airbnb contract. Here's what I want to know. You have a guest staying at your house. Maybe you invited them in at first. Yeah, you can stay, you can hang out, couch surf, whatever. But then they don't leave. How do you get them to leave?
Good question. You're talking about just an everyday friend?
Yeah.
I would say
somebody you have a relationship with.
And they're just hanging out at your house for multiple days.
You can't get rid of them.
I would say maybe paying less and less attention to them.
You think so? Act like they're not there.
Yeah, just start going on with your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, some people won't, but a lot of people will feel like, oh, okay, we're not like hanging out anymore.
Yeah. So don't make it fun for them.
Yeah.
Because they might be
You're not like sitting down with them playing video games.
Uh-huh.
You just start like doing your day-to-day tasks, doing the dishes, vacuuming the house, your regular everyday things.
Yeah.
Usually once people don't do that when they have guests over. You don't like start cleaning the house when you have guests over.
Yeah.
Usually you're hanging out, you're doing fun things like you said. And the more like day-to-day tasks you do, the more likely they are to be like, maybe it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Or you just let your dog poop inside.
You start acting very irrational. I think that's one of the early steps. I think if somebody's really committed, they can fight through that because they don't care. They just have a free place to stay. They're feeling good about it.
Well, are they like homeless? Like, who is this friend of yours?
It depends.
Who did you let into your house?
It just depends on how long they're staying.
They don't have a place to stay? Is that who you let in your house?
This has happened to me. Yeah, sometimes people, hey, I broke up with my girlfriend. It's not going well. I need a place to crash.
Got it.
And they stick with you, and then one thing leads to another. They're still there, and they've overstayed their welcome.
Got it.
I think at first, you can start just kind of giving them the cold shoulder. I think, but it's notoriously hard to kick people out of your place because, like, you can call the cops and they can be like, "Well, you told them," like, it's not so easy as you think it might be. And so I think if they get through the cold shoulder thing, you might have to go to the next step, which is be progressively more annoying.
You're going with the no more annoying route.
Yeah, like,
Got it.
There's a lot of things you can do that aren't illegal that you can't get sued for that are just annoying to them until you make it miserable for them to be there and they have to find somewhere else.
I also think that if you joke about kicking them out, that's a good one too. Like if they complain about something, like, well, that's crazy. Well, it'd be great if you just got the heck out of my house.
You mean like your parents did to you when you were a kid?
Yeah.
The stories you love with the opinions you hate. The Riot Radio U.
And he is saying that he believes colleges need to start teaching what he calls mating dynamics. That sounds a little frightening based off of the name.
Sounds a bit scary.
It does. But what he's saying is that particularly for young men, college age, that we need to learn the skills of how to approach women.
Everybody's trying to sell a course on this anyway, on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like, I can be your approaching woman coach.
Your love guru.
Well, let me give you some lines.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not the lines. This guy says, this is the quote from him, approaching women and making them feel safe is a skill. And according to him, the continual rise of porn and how easy it is to access, along with, he also mentions AI sex bots and just, there's a lot of things.
A lot of competition, apparently. He thinks so. I mean, Scott, I don't know if I want you to teach me already.
Yeah.
From where your head's at, I don't know if Scott wants Scott teaching me the ropes.
What he's saying is,
it sounds as if he might have a skewed view.
More and more, it is easier for guys to enter into low entry, low risk relationships. And those actual relationships, though, they don't give you much in return. It's one of those, they temporarily satisfy you type things, but they don't set you up for success in life. You're not getting anything out of them. And it leads to loneliness and depression. So what he's saying is he's just an advocate for, in general, getting out, meeting people in real life, not bed rotting, essentially. But he says it's kind of a lost art that people are, especially guys, are losing the ability to form relationships with people, particularly women. And it's very detrimental to our society. And he thinks colleges need to start teaching if somebody's got to do it. And so since he's, I guess, a New York University professor, might as well be college. Start teaching guys how to approach women.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
You think that's a bad idea? Why do you say that?
Because imagine sitting down in a classroom where there's a however old man telling you about approaching women. I mean, it's just like, I think it's a wild concept. In what world do you know what the heck you're talking about?
Well, how do you know it's going to be an old man?
I'm not saying it's going to be an old man. I'm just saying there's no perfect way to do it. There's no way that's like across the board, like this is how you approach women.
Do you agree that guys are getting worse at it?
I don't think so. I think some people are bad at it, but I've seen people in action do a fantastic job.
I know that there's some people that naturally are good at it. Some people that are taught. I think this is such a cop-out in a way. I always feel this, but saying that parents need to teach, like your dad needs to get in there and start teaching you a little bit is one of the things.
I don't know what is the teach, though. I think it's a game of figuring out what your thing is. Because what's going to work for me is never going to work for someone else. And what's going to work for someone else is never going to work for me. And so I think it's a trial and error. I think you have to go out there and you got to do it.
But I think what he's saying is that there's not a lot of trial going on anymore.
People aren't introducing themselves to one another.
Yeah. I think that's the idea. So,
but as you taking this class, is that going to give you the opportunity to approach more people?
I think it's going to
maybe instill confidence in some.
Instill confidence and just, again, encourage people to try to start relationships in a more healthy way. Just get out there and do something and do the trial and error, if nothing else, as opposed to just sitting at home and maybe just swiping all day long. Or
you know what I would say instead? I would say at the age of like 9 years old, you start going to Wendy's and you start ordering for yourself.
Yeah.
You start answering the home phone when it's called. Yeah. And that's how you truly.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. That's just that's day-to-day social skills.
I'm with you, but see, this is why it's a problem.
Force your children to order their own food and force them to answer the phone at home and force them to talk to people when you have to introduce them to them at a young age.
I like all of that. I think Scott Galloway from NYU would agree.
I don't want Scott teaching me a thing.
It is the.
Oh, hi there.
Worst of the riot.
Crank that up.
Radio U.
This is huge news. If you've ever wanted to go to Disney World, Disneyland, but just thought it's way too expensive, get this. Disneyland is now offering a cheaper ticket. They've lowered the price.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
You know what? Everything's been being raised. Netflix.
So much doom and gloom.
Disney Plus. Grapes.
It's all gone
Cherries.
up. Everything from Netflix to grapes has gone up in price. But Disneyland doing their part to ease the burden of inflation. Disneyland will start offering a cheaper ticket beginning on October 24th. But only valid for children.
Where do I come into this?
Only valid for
That's
children
fair,
aged 3 to 9.
Oh, no, that's who's going, though.
Yeah, but they can't go on as many rides, right? Right?
I guess
too
not.
Too short. They can't go on Space Mountain,
But that's who it's about.
Yeah, that's
the
what
3 to
Disney is
9-year-olds. It's not about us.
They say that the ticket will be valid for use between January 8th and March 10th of next year. You could get it as low as $50 a day.
That's not bad at all.
But January.
Wait, you said January to what?
January 8th through March 10th.
Oh, it's freezing cold outside.
Yeah, well, it's Disneyland.
I guess it's in Florida,
but
right?
It's this is
the one in
Disneyland,
California?
But this is during the school year.
Still not warm, though.
No, it's tough to take a vacation at that time, probably. But I mean, if you're gonna go somewhere, you want to go to California in the summertime or in the wintertime, escape to Disneyland, the nice weather. But I don't know how they are going to validate. Do you have to what do you have to give to Disney for them to know that you're 9 years old?
Oh, everybody has an Identikid, right? I used to have one for every year.
What's that?
Oh, an Identikid?
Yeah.
It's like a young child's ID.
And you have to give that to Disneyland?
I don't know how you prove it. It would be a way.
Because if I'm too old now, but how old could you be where you could still fake it that you were 9? Your parents
You
would.
got to prove it if you're getting a discount.
Your parents would want you to fake it.
Yeah, you got to prove it if you're getting a discount. I'm going to need to see a birth certificate.
Yeah, it's Disney. They're doing some kind of. You got to have some proof.
They're taking this serious.
This isn't just sneaking into the carnival or something. This is real. Disney's not going to just let you get away with it. But I guess it's nice that they're offering a cheaper ticket for somebody.
You know what you should do? This is what I would do.
What's that?
If I was married and had children between the ages of 3 and 9, if let's say I have 2 of them, maybe I have a 6 and 7-year-old, right?
Okay.
I would say maybe both of them, that's $50 a piece.
Uh-huh.
And then we get a one-parent deal.
Where just one parent goes in.
Maybe mom goes and I hang out by the beach.
Why not just send the 2 kids off?
By themselves.
Yeah, in Disney World.
It seems like a safe place.
Think about how much money you'd save that way.
That's a
You're right.
cheat
It does
code.
seem like a safe place.
It
How could they
should be.
possibly
It
get?
should be.
Yeah, you would
But
think
it's
so.
not.
It's so safe they don't even let adults dress up as Disney characters because they want to make sure it's safe and nobody gets fooled. So I think that's how you save money.
You send both the kids in, and then just one parent.
Yeah, probably be more enjoyable for the parents too.
Because then it would just be you taking care of the children. You wouldn't have to worry about me messing things up. I know that if I went in there, I'd just be messing things up.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.